but I'm just getting in some breaking news updates. So I'll stay with the story, and I want you to stay with me. I'm going to read from this letter, so I'll ask my producers and the team to stay on the story. In fact, I'm going to read from the letter, so bear with me. The Secretary in the health of the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare from the central government. There's a letter that's been shot out. I'm reading from the letter. The letter says, and I quote, "In the context of the spread of the variant of concern that is Omicron, the world is currently reporting the highest ever surge in COVID-19 cases. In India, the case trajectory also showcasing an upward trend with 16,764 cases reported on 31st of December. So first, the government is acknowledging that the number of cases are on the rise, adding that we are seeing an upward trend with over 16,000 cases reported in a 24-hour period on 31st of December alone, which is the highest ever single-day rise in the last 70 days. Highest ever single-day rise in the last 70 days. And secondly, the government adding that many developed nations in Europe and Americas are reporting a significant rise in the new cases in the past few weeks, which indicates high transmissibility of the virus. So something that we were discussing, Mayuk, adding that it is imperative to re-emphasize the significance of timely and swift upgradation of health infrastructure. So speaking about health infrastructure, one, and second, given the sudden rise in the increase in the number of cases, we may start seeing a stress on the health infrastructure. The government is also looking at, they're acknowledging that there could be a stress on the medical infrastructure. Third, states have been already advised to ensure health system preparedness by utilizing the existing budget under different components. While I speak, what I'm going to do, Mayuk, I'm going to forward this to you. So you can also open it and look at the news points from there and then read from it. This is a breaking news broadcast. We're just picking up the communication that's gone out from the center, Mayuk. I've just sent it to you. I'm going to continue reading from this letter. The government says to address the potential surge in cases with a view to ensure preparedness, states are advised to initiate creation of field or makeshift hospitals. So the government is asking states, that's breaking news update number one. I'll repeat that, breaking news update number one. The government is asking states to create makeshift hospitals, field or makeshift hospitals to augment availability of health infrastructure, something that we saw even during the second wave, where you had to set up temporary hospitals in different parts of the country. So they're asking for additional field makeshift hospitals. Second, rapid creation of field hospitals, and a large number of positive cases may be eligible for home isolation, and these cases would require effective follow-up and a clearly defined mechanism for prompt shifting to a health facility in case of deterioration in the health situation. So looking at also the home isolation protocol, that's a second breaking news update that is coming in. Point number three, I'll hand it to Mayuk. Mayuk, do you have it with you? You can take it from point number four. I'll read point number three.
Yeah.
Point number three is all states must ensure that control rooms at a district level. Yeah, no, I was saying that I'll read out point number three and I want you to take us to point number four. Point number three says all states must ensure. Yeah. Now go ahead. There's a delay between you and me. I'll hand it to you. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just reading the point number 4 for our audience. It says that states are also requested to ensure that the existing COVID-dedicated health infrastructure is revised and necessary action to ensure its operational readiness to be taken. We have seen, Niranjan, in the second wave also, we have seen how the entire health system in states, specifically in West Bengal also, it has crumbled. We have seen in several other states also how it has crumbled, and we have seen how there was run for an oxygen cylinder, there was a run, midnight madness to get a single bed in a hospital in Bengal. We have seen all these things, and this is the time, high time. In Bengal also, number of cases are increasing, and right now, Niranjan, what you have shared with us, and I have also shared with my Bangla team here, that this is a high alert from center to all the states. Back to you, Niranjan.
Yeah, and the other news point is that the government is acknowledging that there is a rapid rise in the number of cases. In fact, that's in the opening paragraph. The government observes, and the secretary in the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare has acknowledged that India has seen an upward trend with over 16,700 cases in one day alone. Right? You look at that, and half of those cases were reported from Maharashtra. Nearly 3,500 from West Bengal. There are some states, and many states also, it's important to understand, many states are not testing enough, and that is something that we broke on Republic on Friday. Those states included the election states like Punjab, Uttar Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Goa, not testing enough. And some states that continue to test are recording a high number of cases. And we are seeing an upward trend in the number of cases. In Maharashtra, we've seen nearly 8,000 cases. City of Mumbai alone recording about 5,600 cases. So point number one to all our viewers joining us on this breaking news broadcast. Government has asked all states to ensure that field or makeshift hospitals are prepared. Point number two, that there may be a large number of cases for home isolation of people who test positive but don't really have symptoms or have few symptoms, to ensure that there is a clear, defined home isolation protocol. Point number three, all states must ensure control rooms are made functional. Point number four, states are requested to ensure that the existing COVID-dedicated health infrastructure is revisited, ensuring logistics like oxygen availability. Point number five, to contain the spread of infection. And the most important point, Dr. Sanjeev Bagai joining us on the phone line, but I wanted to reiterate, Dr. Bagai, point number five in the letter written out, sent out by the center to all states, that to contain the spread of infection, implementation of containment activities at the field level is essential. And how do you do that? Dr. Bagai, on one hand, you are asking for field containment measures. On the other, thousands of people are on the streets and the markets, at religious sites, and it requires another round of reminders. Dr. Bagai.
Yeah, good evening. So I think, the cart is being pulled in two different directions, really. We don't need to complicate things. We need to do the simple thing simply. And what we really need to do is we need to control areas which are gathering crowds. Okay, so we need to have a stricter control on the markets, the malls, cinema theaters, buses, bus stops, railway stations, airports. These are the areas which are thronging with people. Marriage and banquet halls. We don't really need a lockdown. At this stage, entering the third year of a pandemic, a lockdown will be totally and comprehensively unscientific and unproductive. What we really need is to push the vaccines, to ensure masks. The masks should be available at arm's close distance from almost everyone in market areas, in malls. We don't need Coke and Pepsi vending machines. We need mask vending machines. And we need a strict control on COVID-appropriate behavior. That's the only way to control a contagious microaerosol airborne disease.
Yeah, absolutely. And Dr. Bagai, while I have you on the phone, there is this entire debate that's going on, and it shouldn't even be a debate. And you're looking at the kind of crowds at political rallies, and you have this alarming rise, and we had a report that election states are not testing enough.
So really our focus should be on vaccination, testing, contact tracing, and masking. There are three important places which have no role at the present moment at all in a pandemic. One is election rallies. Okay, so these are going to continue to be not potential but realistic super spreader events. The second is all religious sites. If you see the crowds which are thronging the religious sites, it makes nonsense of our complete effort for the last 2 years. And third is the festive occasions and marriages and banquets. These are the areas which are going to have no social distancing, very close proximity to each other, no masking, and this is going to be fraught with huge danger. Ideally speaking, if polls can be delayed by a couple of months, it will be extremely useful. If the polls have to go along, then there should be just a polling episode with no rallies at all.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for that. Dr. Sanjeev Bagai. We'll speak again later today.